Pathogenic bacteria are the major cause of about 50% of the human diseases, which has resulted in a never-ending battle between pathogens and the higher organism world, especially the humans. There is a constant competition of survival between the healthy individuals and the susceptible individuals, and eventually only the fittest survives. The enormous changes within the bacterial genome results in a new evolution every day. And with each mutation, a new disease is born, causing death of more individuals each passing day. But you all will be surprised to know that the ancestors of modern-day pathogens were not harmful, rather they were friendly in nature. But if bacteria stepped into this world for helping us, then what made them to change? What are the factors that actually contributed to the evolution of these innocent tiny creatures into modern-day pathogens? There are several factors that led to the evolution of normal prokaryotic ancestors into pathogenic ones. The main reason being spontaneous genetic variations, mutations and horizontal gene transfer, mainly by 4 modes of transmission, that is conjugation, transformation, transduction, and artificial gene transfer agents. Potential changes are brought into the genetic makeup and the secretome of these innocent ancient bacteria. Conjugation is termed as the process in which 2 bacteria mates to exchange their genetic information. Transformation is the process in which free DNA, that is naked DNA, is inserted into the bacterial cell, which later on integrates into the genome of the bacteria. The transduction is another process in which the involvement of tiny bacteriophage, via which gene transmutation occurs, while horizontal gene transfer can also take place via the help of artificial gene transfer agents. One of the several factors behind these mutations is the change in host habitats due to migrations of different populations from one place of the earth to the other. Changes in the environment can induce potential acquired changes within organisms, which can later on make them more severe in terms of their pathogenicity. This takes place due to acquiring new mutations. This can also be a result of altered susceptibility of the host to the disease-causing agents. Another reason being alterations in the host immune system. The host immune system always adapts itself to the environment that the host exists in and can either evolve in 2 directions to become either stronger or weaker comparatively. The main secret behind all evolutions being different types of mutations and also resulting in microbes with changing homes, resulting in the most deadly phenomenon that can take place, that is, interspecies transmission of diseases. One of the most common examples is Mycobacterium tuberculosis bovis, which once upon a time was specific to infecting only cows. But due to altered host specificity and virulence enhancement, now it can be even deadlier than before, where the pathogen has changed its host specificity and now the new variety, that is Mycobacterium tuberculosis, can infect humans. This is one of the common examples where we can see evolution of pathogens to infect higher organisms. Apart from these factors, another factor that has changed the fate of pathogens is the change in preferred habitat of humans. Humans used to live in the open, that is, they were homeless in ancient times, that is the early man, while slowly they started dwelling on trees, that is the arboreal life, as described in history, was supposed to be the habitat style of Homo habilis. Later on, they started dwelling in airtight caves and tents like the Neanderthal and the Cro-Magnon man. This resulted in protection from sun's rays, increased temperature, greater host availability, and greater moisture availability, which ultimately resulted in a more ideal environment for the transfer of pathogens, thus making civilization a curse in disguise. Now, in brief, coming to the biological factors that are responsible for these prokaryotic organisms to become pathogens. The colonization factors that includes adhescence, that is lipopolysaccharide, invasins and evasins. The invasins can phagocytose as well as pinocytose organisms. There are lesion factors like exotoxins, which in turn includes cell signaling factors, pore forming factors, and target modifying factors. They can also include endotoxins, which can again include the lipopolysaccharide, like in case of adhesins for the colonization factors. Then there can be hydrolytic enzymes, autoimmune antigens, as well as superantigens. But as we can see in both the cases, the common factor is the LPS, that is the lipopolysaccharide, which is the main component that differentiates gram-positive and gram-negative bacteria. This resulted in the evolution of the gram-negative bacteria, and it was a punch to become more deadly villains of nature. And last but not the least, drug and multi-drug resistance, which is a global concern due to fast antibiotic degradation, antibiotic alterations, efflux pumping of antibiotics, and decreased permeability to antibiotics are the main reasons behind drug and multi-drug resistance. Now let's take a look into a short video where we can see that how prescribed antibiotics, if not taken sincerely, and incomplete course of antibiotics as prescribed by the doctors is not followed properly, then it can result in drug resistance. Treatment begins with one medication. The first dose kills many bacteria. The second dose kills even more bacteria. But still, some remain alive, resistant to the antibiotic. If the patient is not taking all the prescribed antibiotics, these resistant bacteria multiply and pass the resistance to their descendants, and the patient remains sick. In this way, a strain of bacteria can become fully resistant to an antibiotic. And the same cycle can continue until the person is resistant to all the medications we use to treat a particular disease. It's a classic example of natural selection. Genetic variations with bacterial strains allow some bacteria to survive even when it hits with antibiotics. These surviving bacteria are selected and continue to evolve, that is, survive and reproduce one another time. A single bacteria can reproduce 1,000,000 times in a single human lifespan. So to conclude overall with just a thought that when these innocent creatures created by nature becomes virulent in nature, today we are coexisting with the bacteria. Tomorrow pathogens can overtake human populations, while day after tomorrow only microbes will be left, and we will live in a microbial world with no humans but only pathogens in it. Now what will be the future? That only time will tell. So that's all about this video. Thank you. We will come with more interesting videos in future, so keep your eyes on biospecifics for further updates.